I'm a Sagittarius, and I think it says one of our major qualities is that we're blindly optimistic.
Okay.
So when I'm in love, I'm just stupid about it, and I trust people constantly. Yeah. And then I always am like, oh, I'm not going to trust people anymore. I'm going to be one of those dark, twisty girls who guys love because they're all like guarded and stuff. Right. And then I just trust people again. I'm a Sagittarius, and I think.
And the winner is Best Direction, Anti-Hero, directed by Taylor Swift.
That's my favorite Sagittarius over there.
On account.
So I'm back. So we at the end of Sagittarius season. Shout out to all of the Sagittarius out there. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all birthdays. And I'm going to end Sagittarius season with the very famous Sagittarius, and that's Taylor Swift, of course. If you don't know who Taylor Swift is, she's a famous country singer. One of the biggest artists of the last, 10, 20 years. One of the highest selling artists of the past 10, 20 years. Pretty sure that her and Adele probably is the highest selling female artist since the 2010s. Without even looking it up, I'm pretty sure. But so yeah, that's Taylor Swift. She's a huge country singer, probably the biggest country singer currently. So getting into Taylor Swift chart, Taylor Swift was born December 13th, 1989 in Reading, Pennsylvania, and she just turned 36 years old. So getting into her chart, Taylor Swift is a sun in Sagittarius, moon in Cancer, Mercury in Capricorn, Venus in Aquarius, Mars in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Capricorn, Uranus in Capricorn, Neptune in Capricorn, Pluto in Scorpio, North Node in Aquarius, Length in Scorpio, then her rising sign is a Pisces. So before I get into Taylor Swift chart, now, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. So I know y'all asking why did I do this chart. Sometimes I do pick people charts that of course I know and I like personally, but then sometimes I go by, as y'all seen with Diddy or Kendrick Lamar, I pick people who popular at the time and in the limelight at the time, basically. So that's sometimes when I go on, just like I did Donald Trump this year, because it's all about getting views, and I'm doing people that I think other people would want to see too. It's not always just about me. So that's why I'm doing Taylor Swift, because she is huge. I'm a huge NFL fan, so of course her and Travis Kelce, which I'm gonna dive into their relationship once I get to our Venus, but she would miss, not really this year, I don't think, but the past 2 years, she was all over the NFL. They were showing her constantly and stuff like that. And, she kind of started to get so much hate from that. But before that, I remember the situation with Kanye when she first came on, and I think she won the award over Beyonce. So, and then I might have heard maybe two, three Taylor Swift songs. I never heard like a complete album because I'm not a big country fan. I'm more of course, hip hop and R&B, and then even rock and roll. Think I got on a Pink Floyd shirt. Yeah, I do got on a Pink Floyd shirt right now. So, country never really been my thing. But, for the most part, I've seen a couple of Taylor Swift interviews. Of course, I had to watch before doing this video. And she seems, like a cool person. I could definitely see the Sagittarius in her, and then she got a moon in Cancers. So I could kind of see that in her. But so getting into it. So I just wanted to file that disclaimer because some people I know more about than others, so I can really speak to their personality. But for the fans, as I break down her chart, y'all can really speak on this Taylor Swift really this way. So getting into her chart. So I always say that every video, I used to say I used to just say sun, moon, and rising sign because them your big three, but now I say sun through Mars and your rising sign tells the most about your personality. Jupiter through Pluto is important also. Then your north node is your life direction. So that's really important. Most people don't know they north node, and that can tell you a lot because that's really your life mission and what you headed towards. And then your left is the what you struggle with, the taboo side of you that you don't like showing to people. So everything, every planet matters and it helps shape the person. And that's why a lot of people say they don't act like the same sign as somebody. Well, they don't act like somebody even though they the same sign, but they probably just the same sun sign. The rest of their chart is probably completely different. Because your sun sign is just your core self. So that's your core identity. That's who you identify with. Your moon sign is your feelings, so that's your emotions, how you react to things emotionally. Your Mercury is your communication style, the way that you think. So Mercury is very important because that could tell like your thought process. Your Venus is your love language. So most people look at astrology for compatibility, but they look at the sun sign. When you really should look at the Venus also, because your Venus is the way that you love. And in your love language, your sun signs is just gonna tell if y'all both share the same kind of like ideologies. Like two air signs, they will value communication and relationships, and their core identity will be thinking and communicating. Water signs, it would be, of course, emotions and being able to identify with each other emotionally. Being two emotional people. So, but your Venus can definitely tell a lot about who you compatible with. Then your Mars is your aggression style. So that's what you're aggressive towards. It could tell how aggressive you is. And whether you're an aggressive person or an overly ambitious person, then it's also your sexual style. Then your rising is your social personality. So that's how people view you in the world. So yeah, as you see, everything matters when it comes to your birth chart. So, but getting into, we don't start with our sun and Sagittarius. So, like I said, your sun sign is your core self. It's who you really are, at heart. So she is Sagittarius, as we know. So what do we know about Sagittarius? Sagittarius is a fire sign, just like Aries and Leo. So all fire signs are impulsive, brave, can have a temper, obviously fiery, uh, and passionate with with things that they do. They're real passionate people, and they love excitement. Fire signs, they have to have excitement. They gotta have a spark in their relationship and in their life. So what's unique about Sagittarius is that it's ruled by Jupiter. Every planet is ruled by every sign is ruled by a planet. So Jupiter is the planet of traveling. So a lot of Sagittarius love traveling, higher learning. So a lot of Sagittarius love spreading knowledge and then learning and gaining wisdom. Jupiter also is the planet of good luck and gambling. So a lot of Sagittarius do have good luck. A lot of them can be huge gamblers, especially people with moon and Sagittarius. And what else? The Sagittarius just get associated with being the wild beasts because that's what they represented by. So they really just they considered the hardest sign to tie down. They the most blunt sign. I always say this myself from knowing a lot of Sagittarius. They blunt and straightforward. So every sign lies, but the Sagittarius more so liable to tell it like it is and be blunt with it. And then like Sagittarius is known for being commitment folks, not liking to being told what to do, not liking to be pinned down, loving their freedom to do what they want to do. So them some things that's associated with Sagittarius. So uh let's see. We're gonna read the breakdown that they give us about Sagittarius. So it says about Sagittarius. Sagittarius tend to be idealistic, optimistic. That's another thing. Yeah, I would say their biggest strength and their biggest weakness is their optimism. They real optimistic people, so you never really see a Sagittarius down and hating life and they don't stay down for long. But they same optimism is the same thing that makes them huge gamblers that they keep on believing that they gonna win. And it also makes them have a grass is greener mentality when it comes to relationships. So that's why a lot of them hop from relationship to relationship because they always think, well, I'll just find someone else. There's someone better out there. So, yeah, optimistic, dependable, open-minded, friendly, honest, and versatile. But they can also be tactless, irresponsible, showy, boastful, self-righteous, arrogant, quarrelsome, fanatical, dogmatic, and dictatorial. Sagittarius like any work where foresight and a willingness to take a chance is offered, while at the same time they try to avoid detailed work. Sagittarius are usually outspoken, sometimes to the point of bluntness. Simply blurting out their ideas and opinions is due to their never ending search for truth and wisdom. Others think Sagittarius are pretty tactless in the statement that truth hurts fit their way of thinking. Regardless of their undiplomatic remarks, others instinctively feel as if the Sagittarian means them no real harm and is only interested in raising their consciousness. Sagittarians love the outdoors, large animals, nature, and sports. Some have reckless gambling tendencies and will bet it all on the drop of a hat. Travel and even long walks appeal to them because they make Sagittarius feel free and she needs freedom. Sagittarius are philosophical and they want to understand the deeper issues and abstractions of life. They have a certain faith in higher things that generally always keeps them of a optimistic bent. No matter what difficulties are currently besetting them, they want to understand the meaning of life. This helps to keep them growing and expanding, which is something they need to do. This desire for expansion can cause them to overextend themselves with too many activities and use up their energy too rapidly. They need to take intervals of rest to recuperate between projects. Sagittarius need to learn how to concentrate on their current projects and stick with them to the end. Always full of enthusiasm, they tend to show it more at the start of new endeavors. Then it tends to look then it tends to lessen as the project goes along and gets stuck in the details, or the going gets a little rough, or it simply gets a little boring. Although Sagittarius are ordinarily healthy, they can run into trouble due to overindulgence in food and drink. Sagittarius are known for their friendliness, helpfulness, and subtle humor. They are good conversationalists and enjoy debating merely for the sake of debating. They have a real gift of making friends, and the typical Sagittarian can go anywhere in the world without ever feeling lonely, for they acquire friends along the route. They have humanitarian instincts and are practical in expressing them. They will tend to help anyone who is in need. You can usually depend on their loyalty and honesty, for there is nothing devious or manipulative in their nature. Sagittarius are extremely independent and restless with a real need for personal freedom. They can experience claustrophobia, either physical or emotional. This is why they are reluctant to get into total commitment situations and often shy away from marriage. And love, Sagittarius are highly romantic, but they need a partner to be intelligent and communicative. They hate jealousy and possessiveness on the part of their partner, especially since they are fond of flirting. They enjoy the chase more than the capture. Career-wise, Sagittarius are reluctant to become tied down to a set schedule, so they will experiment with a variety of jobs. They do best in careers that permit them to travel about either locally or widely. They also like dealing directly with people, either selling or promoting ideas, products, etc. The Sagittarian may overlook small details, but their overall sense of planning is excellent. They have good memories. The challenge of a problem is what interests them, for it caters to their enjoyment in exploring in the unknown. Playing games come to Playing games comes easily to Sagittarian, and it is the journey they enjoy rather than the destination. So yeah, I know that's a lot, but that's Sagittarius to the T. Like I said, I know a lot of Sagittarius. I dated a lot of Sagittarius. I had a Sagittarius friend for like 15 years. So I know a lot about Sagittarius, and that's definitely them. All the things that I said. So, you know how this relates to Taylor Swift. We know that she gets to travel a lot, and she does travel a lot. She picked a career that's where she kind of gets to, like I said, communicate with people and travel, and it's kind of a odd career, being an artist and being on the road and kind of getting to have fun, because it says that Sagittarius, which they do, will struggle with the typical 9 to 5, the typical set schedule. You have to be at this job at this time every day. Like they need a job like making music or being an actor or something, to where they get to kind of have freedom and make their own schedule, being an entrepreneur, something like that, to where they really not tied down. Then, like I said, they very blunt and straightforward, so that leads well to making music. You get to communicate yourself and say exactly how you feel. Um, like I said, huge gamblers for sure. Very optimistic and upbeat people. You see Taylor Swift, she always is optimistic for the most part and upbeat. So, reluctant to be so. Yeah, this is all things they said is definitely all things a Sagittarius to the key. Definitely blunt and straightforward. And most of the time friendly people. When you meet them, they really friendly and open people, for the most part. And I can see that with Taylor Swift. So next is her moon in Cancer. So like I said earlier, the moon is your feelings and your emotions, and Cancer actually is ruled by the moon. So every sign, like I said, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, is ruled by a planet. So it just means that you would do good in that area if you have a sign that's ruled by that planet. So people with Cancer moons, of course, are going to be good when it comes to emotions and feelings, and tapping into other people's emotions and feelings, and they're gonna be real good when it comes to like emotional intelligence and picking up on the emotions, because we know that Cancer is a water sign like Scorpio and Pisces, so it's all about dealing with the emotions. And we know that Cancer rules the home life, the opposite of Capricorn. Capricorn rules the work life. Cancer rules the home life. So a lot of Cancers are huge into their family, big on family. Um, and love their family and have a lot of good memories, and will keep a lot of memories with their family. So with a Cancer, if they had a bad relationship with their family, they can really be affected by that and be a wreck. If they had a good relationship with their family, they can be strong. So family is definitely important when it comes to Cancer. So I'm gonna read what it says about Moon and Cancer. Taylor Swift very easily responds to the emotional environment in which she is placed. Taylor Swift soaks up feelings like a sponge. Perhaps this is why Taylor Swift so easily becomes moody, irritable, and inconstant in thought and feeling. Learning to control her own moods may be very difficult, yet necessary. For Taylor Swift's greatest desire is to take care of and nurture someone or something. Taylor Swift often appears irrational to others because she can't always explain the reason or source of her feelings. Anyone who lives with her must accept her ups and downs and appreciate her need for times of withdrawal. Taylor Swift is also very sympathetic and understands the unspoken feelings and needs of others. Taylor Swift takes slights very personally, and though may forgive a mistake by a friend or a loved one, she never forgets it. Security is very important to Taylor Swift, and she looks for it in her home and family life. Taylor Swift's senses and emotions are quite strong, and it would be wise for her to listen to her intuitive side, and she can be quite psychic. Taylor Swift is very tenacious, and she does not give up or let go of things or people easily. Taylor Swift's mother is/was a strong influence for good or ill in her life. Taylor Swift is basically an introvert, but will do whatever it takes to protect and defend her family or loved ones. Taylor Swift tends to be a pack rat because everything has emotional memory behind it, and she finds security in all of those memories. Nothing or no one is ever gone if they leave their memory behind. This Taylor Swift can be quite possessive. Taylor Swift has the memory of an elephant, but she must learn to forgive and forget past hurts. So I know how that relates to Taylor Swift. 'Cause I know that a big part of Taylor Swift music, especially early on, was her relationships, past relationships, and she made like a lot of breakup songs that I do know. So that could speak to her moon and Cancer, like they said, holding on to past hurts and relationships and things like that. And then it also what makes her, good at making music. Someone with the moon in Cancer, like Drake has the moon in Cancer. So you know that he good at making music because they both good at tapping into their feelings. So that's good when it comes to music. That's why I'm pretty sure a lot of people like Taylor Swift music. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that it's um good emotionally and connects with people emotionally. So that could come from her moon and Cancer. Then I'm pretty sure without even knowing that a lot of her music probably is about her past and her life growing up and things like that. And then her moon and Cancer is what actually combined with her sun and Sagittarius, it kind of balance out in a way because we know Sagittarius hate being tied down, wants to be free, don't want to be, in nothing serious. Cancer, like they said, makes her want to have a family while she might be engaged now to Travis Kelsey and, seek having a kid. Wouldn't be shocked if they have a kid soon. And, like that kind of balances out with the freedom of Sagittarius. But it could be also somebody who have enter battles, especially early on in her life with not knowing that she want to be single or in a relationship, not knowing that she want to be a bachelor or having a family. So that could be like the struggle between the two. And then so yeah, that's her moon in Cancer and how it relates, and I can see that with her. Next is her Mercury in Capricorn. So Mercury is the planet, like I said, of communication. So it's your communication style, and your thought process. So it's ruled by Gemini and Virgo. So people with Mercury and Gemini usually are real good at making music and talking. You look at um, Prince and Tupac. You look at even like a Shannon Sharp, who known for being a good communicator and a good talker. Who else got a Mercury and Gemini? But them the three that I could think of off the top of my head. So, but hers is in Capricorn. So when it comes to Mercury and Capricorn, because I actually have a Mercury and Capricorn myself. So we know that Capricorn is a earth sign like Virgo and Taurus. So all earth signs are dealing with stability and practicality. So this is someone who's going to think in the terms of stability and practicality. So this is somebody who wants to be a business person, business minded, somebody who's going to be strategic, somebody who's going to think like a Capricorn. So Capricorns, like I said, rules the work life. So this is somebody who wants to uh, work towards success, be successful. Someone who's going to be, for the most part, disciplined, hard working. And then just overall business minded is what a Mercury and Capricorn is going to be like. So we know that that definitely relates to Taylor Swift. But what it says about Mercury and Capricorn, Taylor Swift mind is clear, disciplined, and serious, practical, organizing, objective, and realistic. And she is unimpressed by exaggerated claims or promises. Taylor Swift wants to know the facts behind any statement or idea she hears. Taylor Swift's natural skepticism often borders on sciism. Taylor Swift has a rational approach to problems and is usually quite level-headed no matter what the circumstances. Taylor Swift is capable of working long hours with focused concentration and attention on whatever interests her. Taylor Swift probably has a good memory and is very attentive to details. At times, Taylor Swift appears to others as lacking a sense of humor, boring, or depressed. Taylor Swift simply has a lot on her mind. Taylor Swift is thorough, conscientious, and disciplined in her thinking. It has an aptitude for business, organization, and administration. Taylor Swift is also a good strategist and will plan and patiently follow a realistic course that will lead to her eventual success. Serious-minded and studious, Taylor Swift enjoys quiet time alone for thinking or reading. Taylor Swift seldom indulges in foolish or silly chatter, for she considers them a waste of valuable time that is better spent on more productive things. So, yeah, so I have a Mercury and Capricorn, so them things is true. So like they said that this is gonna be somebody, a serious person, somebody who's good, make good decisions, who's rational, who good at thinking, and then a natural skepticism, they don't believe nothing without facts. Uh, it's hard to really get over on them. But then some people might say that they lack a sense of humor, boring or depressed. Now, because that's definitely a lot of Capricorn moons. But with Mercury and Capricorn, of course, it's going to depend on the sun and the moon placement. Now, her having a Sagittarius sun is going to want to make her. She gonna have more of a sense of humor and love having fun. Cause that's her core identity versus the true Capricorn. So just like I'm a Aquarius, so like I'm more so outgoing and communicative and, love talking because that's still my true self. Now, if you a Capricorn with the Mercury and Capricorn, then them things gonna kind of reign more true. Or if you another sign like any earth sign for real, like a Taurus and a Capricorn or a Virgo with a Capricorn Mercury, you're gonna be more so fit into people gonna kind of see you kind of more of a boring person, laid back, because you're gonna be so serious. Because your core identity is gonna be serious, especially if you're a Sun in Capricorn. Then the way that you think gonna be super serious and practical also. So, and it really depends on your other chart or the rest of your chart. Then your moon sign, because your emotions also definitely gonna matter. Because if you got a moon in Capricorn, so your feelings gonna be reserved. Then the way you think gonna be reserved. So yeah, so that kind of matter on the rest of your chart. And then they could be really focused on stuff that interest them. So that is true. Like stuff that really interests me, I can work along and long hours for, but stuff that don't is really kind of the problem. So yeah, that's her Mercury and Capricorn. There was something else I was looking for. Uh oh, a good strategist. Yeah. So that's her Mercury and Capricorn. Next is Venus and Aquarius. So, like I said earlier, Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, and it's actually ruled by Libra and Taurus. So, a lot of Libra and Taurus is known for being in a relationship, love, and love and being in love. Most Taurus I know is married. Libra's always got a partner. Um, so yeah, that's Venus basically your love language. Your love style, how what you your love language basically. So hers is in an Aquarius, mine's is actually in Aquarius too. So Aquarius is the air sign, just like Gemini and Libra. So all air signs are dealing with communication. So of course, somebody with a Venus in Aquarius is somebody who's going to be big on communication. Like that's what they gonna want in a partner, somebody that they can talk to, somebody that they can communicate with, somebody that basically, makes them think. Basically, my bad, I was reading something else, that's why I sound like I'm kind of distracted, but anyway, I'm back. But so yeah, that's what a Venus in Aquarius is gonna be like. Then this person also, because I got a Venus in Aquarius, is actually can be detached in their relationships, so they not gonna be a real clingy person, or they not gonna like somebody who's super clingy. I know that they say that also, which is true. And then Aquarius is the sign of friendship, so this is somebody who they gonna want somebody to be like their best friend, whoever they in a relationship with. Like they gonna want to have like a friendship type of relationship also, or maybe even start as friends. So That's Venus and Aquarius. And then let me see what it says. So Taylor Swift affections are expressed in an open, unconventional, and rather detached way. Socializing, bringing people together, and having many friends and acquaintances very much appeal to Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift values friendship so highly. She may be more comfortable being a friend than a lover. One thing's for sure, Taylor Swift highly dislikes possessive, clingy relationships. Taylor Swift wants to be free to do whatever she wants with whomever she likes. Taylor Swift wants an intellectual or spiritual connection with her partner, and this may even be the preferred substitute over a very intimate or emotional bonding. Taylor Swift needs a partner who will give her plenty of freedom, allowing her to be her own person and not too demanding emotionally. Taylor Swift is charming, happy, and original, but also cool, calm, and detached. This detachment is beneficial because she, as a rule, is never possessive of people or things. The feelings Taylor Swift has tend to be filtered through her mind and intellectualized. Taylor Swift needs to learn warmth and understanding. So yeah, that's all things of course Aquarius, like I said. So um how this works with her. So this is the part where I get into the person relationship. So we know that she's been in a couple relationships, which I have to look up, but I know right now she's engaged with Travis Kelce and been with him. So I know that he probably gives her freedom because he in the NFL. So like with the NFL season, like 6 or 8 months, and he usually going to the end. I know this year he not, but so she gets that freedom to tour and kind of do her thing, and they both kind of live the same life to where you know she they understand each other and she probably gets that freedom. So I already know yet that Travis Kelce is a Libra, but getting into his chart, so they actually both the same age too. So Travis Kelce is a Sun in Libra, Moon in Sagittarius, his Mercury is in Virgo, Venus is in Scorpio, and then Mars is in Libra. Then his rising sign is a Sagittarius. So right off rip, you see they are definitely compatible. Astrology never lies. So they sun signs is compatible because it's a Libra and a Sagittarius. So it's air and fire. You know that air and fire is compatible. Libra. So air go with air and fire, and water goes with water and earth. So they compatible there. You know that Libras bring the thought, and then Sagittarius bring the excitement. That's why air and fire is compatible because they ignite each other. You know that air makes fire grow, so they real compatible. Fire signs bring excitement to that air signs world, and then the air sign is what bring like groundness to the fire sign. Like they can be the path. It's the classic. The fire signs is the door, and then the air signs is the thinkers. Basically that's how you can look at it too. And then the moon sign Sagittarius and Cancer, they're not typical compatible because we dealing with fire and water, which kind of wash each other out, but they both are two passionate signs, and then her sun sign is a Sagittarius still. So his feelings is kind of goes with her core identity, and they able to understand each other that way. Now, if it was a moon sign in Aries or Leo, it would be a little bit more difficult because it wouldn't necessarily match her sun sign, even though her sun sign is still a fire sign. So it's kind of tricky there when it comes to the moon sign. But they Mercury is compatible because they both got an Earth sign Mercury, so his is in Virgo, hers is in Capricorn. So their communication style and their thought process is the same. It's both for practicality. So they both, want to get, could think about being something stable, being married, working together, business minded. They communicate the same and think the same there. Then Venus, they love language. Scorpio and Aquarius is not typically compatible because it's air and water, but Aquarius and Scorpio is always like a tricky relationship. Cause I'm a Aquarius. My first three exes with Scorpio. Do you look at a lot of power relationships and couples is Scorpio and Aquarius because they considered the two smartest signs? So The way that they do things, because they can clash. And I had a long-term Scorpio friend for the longest. Like I said, I dated a lot of Scorpios, so it's kind of tricky, but they would clash because Scorpios love control and Scorpios are known for being possessive. Aquarius hate possessiveness, so that's where the clash usually does come in, especially with Venus. So Travis Kelsey could be possessive and jealous in relationships. Then we know Taylor Swift hates that, so that could be the little tricky part when it comes to their relationship. And then Mars, forgot what her Mars is. Her Mars is in an Aquarius, yeah. So they are compatible there because it's two air signs, so it's Libra and Aquarius. So the aggression style is the same. And then Mars also rules like your sex, your sexual energy too. So they compatible there, also. So for the most part, they compatible, overall for the most part. Think they both got the same north. Wasn't her north node? No, hold on. What was her north node in? I knew, yeah, I wanted to make sure. So they both got the same north node too in Aquarius. So that's crazy. So they both have the same life direction and life purpose. And I think, do they got the same length too? Oh no, his left is in Libra. So they even compatible there. So for the most part, they compatible. They thought process is the same. They sun signs match up. I explained they moon sign is not perfect but I broke down how it can still kind of work out, and then their Mars signs is compatible. So yeah, and then their rising sign is a Sagittarius and Pisces, so they kind of view each other different, but his is a Sagittarius, and her core self is a Sagittarius, so he do got some Sagittarius energy too that attracts her with his moon and rising. And then what else? Then she don't have no Libra, but she has the Aquarius in her chart. So yeah, they compatible. Like I said, for the most part, I can see. They both famous. It's like an idealistic couple. People view them good together. So it's kind of a relationship that makes sense too. When to look at a few of her other serious exes, see if they was compatible. And then you see she has several high profile exes, that of a Sagittarius. Like I said, Sagittarius definitely date around, have a lot of partners. Told you, hate being tied down. So she in her mid 30s now. So of course that's the point that you kind of want to be tied down. But in her 20s, you could see that she is a true Sagittarius dating around. I guess she made songs about all of them, like we thought. But this was her longest relationship with John. I don't know who that is. Oh, he a movie actor. This is him, right? He from London. Let me make sure this is him. That looks like him, right? Yeah, I think that's him. Let me see if yeah. Let's see. February 21st, 1991. That's a Pisces, not a Aquarius. Hmm. So yeah, this is him. Just wanted to make sure. So He is a Sun in Pisces, Moon in Taurus, Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Gemini. So where they compatible, they rising sign is compatible because it's a Cancer and a Pisces, so it's two water signs. So they were definitely attracted to each other. They sun signs don't line up because it's water and fire. So that could have been a tricky part. Even though I know a lot of Sagittarius who dated Pisces, it's usually always uh, a chaotic relationship. Usually fire and water signs is usually a passionate but toxic relationship, or it could be strictly like a sexual relationship because they both passionate people because it's both dealing with feelings because we know um air and earth is the thinkers of astrology, and then the water and the fire signs are the fillers. They just do it in a different way. So it's always a tricky relationship when it comes to water and fire, but typically, no, they not a Pisces and a Sagittarius not compatible because the Pisces is empathetic. Like a Sagittarius is too blunt and straightforward for a Pisces. They can hurt the Pisces feelings. And then Pisces, even though they can be huge cheaters, they more so want a relationship and to be married than something stable. We know that Sagittarius is not that. And they can just, be different in a lot of ways. Now, they moon signs is compatible because it's Taurus and Cancer, so it's Earth and water, so we know that that's compatible. Mercury, Aquarius, and Capricorn, it's air and earth, so typically they're not compatible, but there's another tricky one because we know that Aquarius and Capricorn was both ruled by Saturn originally, and then Aquarius moved to being ruled by Uranus, but Aquarius and Capricorn share a lot of the same traits. I always say that Aquarius is like Capricorn with the twist, like Aquarius is more like social and erratic and rebellious, where Capricorn is more of a laid back, reserved, and serious. But they do share a lot of the same traits. And then Venus and Pisces, and what did I say her Venus was in? Dang, I done forgot that quick. Hold on, let me see. Dang, I just had it. Venus and Aquarius, right? We got the same Venus. So that's definitely not compatible. They Venus definitely not because Aquarius and Pisces do not get along. Blueface and Krishan Rock. Even though you do have Justin Timberlake and uh Jessica Biel, Ice-T and Coco, I gotta look at their charts though because as Aquarius, my worst relationships were with Pisces, and it just never worked outside of a sexual relationship. So I can't, but no, it's air and water. So, it's thinking versus feeling. So typically they're not compatible there. And then a Mars sign is compatible because it's Gemini and Aquarius. So it's two air signs again, just like Libra. So it's not the perfect match, but they are compatible in some areas. They rising signs is compatible. They moon sign and then their Mars sign is compatible. So then, like I said, they Mercury could be kind of tricky when it comes to compatibility. So I can see that that's why they was together for a long time because they is compatible, but ultimately they probably did have a lot of differences with each other. Ultimately why it probably didn't work out in the long run. Then I know she is 2 years older than him. So unless we just do her next longest one or serious one. Calvin Harris. I know he made that song with Rihanna. So, yeah, them is her two serious one. Her longest relationship, then try. Mhm. So we will go with Calvin Harris. I don't know if this the same Calvin Harris who made that song with Rihanna, but yeah, maybe. So he is a Capricorn, rising sign in Taurus, Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Cancer, Mercury in Capricorn, Venus in Sagittarius, Mars in Scorpio. So right off rip, you already know they share some of the same signs. Rising sign is compatible because that's Taurus and Pisces, so Earth and water again. Sun signs is not typically compatible. It's Earth and Fire. Capricorn and Sagittarius is not the typical match, especially because we know Capricorn is all about stability and being disciplined and stuff like that. And we know Sagittarius is the opposite of that. They like to be free, don't like to be told what to do, love to be adventurous. So that's where they clash with the sun sign. But they got the same moon sign, so their emotions and feelings was exactly the same. And they got the same Mercury, so the way that they think was the same. So their feelings and their thought process was the same. Then a Venus was compatible also. Yeah, her Venus is in Aquarius, so it's Aquarius and Sagittarius, so it's air and fire, so they was compatible there. Mars sign, like I said, Aquarius and Scorpio already broke that down. So, yeah, they was definitely compatible for the most part. Um, when it comes to each other, definitely. So yeah, so that's Taylor Swift dating history and the people that she dated. I'm trying to get back. So yeah, so that's her Venus in Aquarius. Next is Mars in Scorpio. So Mars is, like I said earlier, planet of your aggression. Your aggression style is ruled by Aries. Um, Capricorn does well. Scorpio can do well, but really Aries do the best and Capricorn do the best. You're gonna be overly ambitious and you're gonna have a lot of passion and energy, but we know that Scorpio is a passionate sign. It's a water sign like Pisces and Cancer, so it's dealing with emotions, and we know Scorpio get all a dark rep, well, a bad rep for being dark and mysterious and intense. So let's see what it says. So it says Taylor Swift is extremely strong-willed and she pursues her goals and desires with passionate dedication and determination. Taylor Swift is capable of total concentration and tremendous discipline, and she is very difficult to influence once her mind is made up. When Taylor Swift wants something, she can be very one-sided and almost obsessed with it. Taylor Swift tends to be secretive and she does not want others to know what her plans are. Taylor Swift tends to be instinctive, perceptive, determined, strong-willed, stubborn, and magnetic. Taylor Swift has deep emotions and may occasionally show a primitive side. Taylor Swift needs to learn self-discipline or her desired nature will rule her life, probably causing great sorrow in the end. Taylor Swift must learn to control her jealousy and possessiveness in matters of love. A certain amount of detachment in relationships would probably be good, and this, of course, would include her tendency to treat loved ones as possessions. Taylor Swift is very forceful in a quiet and subtle way, and others may have a difficulty in seeing or understanding her motives. Taylor Swift can manipulate people in a way that is not obvious to them or others. Direct confrontation with others is not Taylor Swift's preferred style. Taylor Swift likes operating behind the scenes. In any case, Taylor Swift is a formidable opponent when riled. In matters of health, Taylor Swift may be a tendency towards him hemorrhoids. So yeah, we don't know about that. But anyway, oh yeah, that's her Mars and Scorpio. So this can relate to her music and her taking her music seriously because with being obsessed with something and hard working and strong minded. So that where that could have relate to being determined to make it in the music industry and to make music. Then that could come like they said with her relationships, even though she got a Venus in Aquarius, her Mars makes, her jealous and can make her possessive. Um, when it comes to matters of love, what else? She can be secretive in a way, and magnetic, having a magnetic personality. We know a lot of Scorpios do have that magnetic type of personality that draws people to them. So I can definitely see that with her Mars and Scorpio. That's what I think give her drive and her obsession, with making music and her determination and strong will and things like that.